This broadcast probably gonna get me in trouble. I want to give a shout out to my personal Moray. Moray is we talked about it. I never really got a definitive, clear answer, and I never do. Truth be told, I don't get that much respect from the brothers. I just feel like, haha, it just falls on deaf ears. I have legitimate concerns, but I'm just told that, I'm never given a clear and definitive answer, and I'm trying to do things myself. So this is some things that I ran across right here. I just let me just let this play so we can keep it going.
Is the beginning of every month. The beginning of every month. And all our months coincide with the scriptures.
Okay. I'm still confused. I'm trying to see right now, what month are you in? Like, how would I determine myself month start? Like, when this new month come in after this month, how would I tell when that month starts?
And that's what I'm.
And that seems like a legitimate question. Me personally, I asked the same question. How do I determine this myself? So what I did was I got a calendar and I counted 30 days. Now, of course, they say that doing that is wrong because you can't use the heathen days. But let me continue to show you my point.
I'm telling you, and I gave you the scriptures, and you're not confused. You're confused. Your confusion is by what you've been going by. We're in the 11th month of our calendar year, and you may be in the 11th month also. I'm not sure what month you're in. In the Hebrew calendar, we're in our 11th month. Now, how did we get to the 11th month? Well, we got to the 11th month by, and your year might have began differently than the year began for us. And our year began, it coincided with the date. And I just get this date just for talking purposes. It coincided with the date of March the 26th. That's when the year began for us. That's right.
All right, now as you can see on this right here, you see that this he said this January 30th, 2020. He was saying March 26th of last year was the beginning of the year. I'm gonna let it continue a little bit before I go.
Right around March the 26th. That's when it began. And now we 11 months later.
Okay, so now they're 11 months later, meaning that's why you could see it was streamed live. And I can let me see if I can zoom in. This was streamed live January 30th, 2020. He was saying March 26th of last year. Now, there's a lot of 360 talk, and I'm gonna show you the 360 talk in a little bit because a month later there's another teacher that said that talking about 360 and all that kind of thing. But this is what I want you to pay attention to. If you said March 26th, then if you do your count, 360 days later would be March 20th. Remember, they missing days, they would go backwards. So it will be March 20th of 2020. But it wasn't. The broadcast is on the 30th, right? Of this year, of January 30th of this year. So what happened between January 30th and March 27th that made them add a whole week, a whole 7 days to the calendar? All right? Because the New Year's this year was on the 27th of March. And now let me say it clear. Let me start over and say it clear. Last year, the beginning of the year was March 26, 2019. This year, the beginning of the year is March 27th of 2020. Now, we know with a 365 year calendar, that's not 360 days. So, but listen, but I still was inquiring because maybe I just don't understand, so, but let just
30 days each month. Now, yours might have began around the same time, maybe later, maybe earlier. but you going by the moon. So we're gonna have different times because you only have 29 days in your month. And this is what you should be getting from me.
Now, I'm going to go to let me see, 13 minutes. I'm going to go to because I'm gonna go to here. Now, the reason I'm gonna go to this one, this right here was done on February 29th of that same year, maybe about 30 days later, where this was done. And, you know, because I was basically trying to get an understanding of how they added this whole week to their year, because it's only supposed to be 360. So this is the explanation I got from one of the sisters. They told me this. Now, this is I disagree with what he's saying here, but this is their explanation for why I don't understand that it's really 360 days.
October, and then it's over November 1st. So essentially, you got how many evident truth? That's not debated nowhere on this earth, from Chinatown to African City. 24 hours is in a day. From morning to morning, you're going to get 24 hours. Right? So essentially, they done took an hour off of each day. Right? For the whole.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me back up. Now,
we can show you
the explanation that I was given of why I don't understand it's really 360 days, but the heathen shifts and moves. Now, the one thing I disagree with is when he said something about daylight saving that was just totally wrong, but I'm gonna let you hear it.
Scriptures where a year is literally a circle. But for those that rely on the concordance, it'll still tell you that a year is a circle. So how you gonna get anything outside of a year other than 360? Unless you're doing magic tricks.
Now, I just showed you 360 from they said March 26th of last year. If you count 360, you're not going to get March 27th of this year. But he's saying 360 again. But let me show you how. Basically, this is the understanding that he gave me of why I don't understand. Let me hear.
And trying to make it appear to be something else, and seems to be something else. That's witchcraft, doing magic tricks. But let me show you how they put the smoke in your eyes. So they got what they call daylight savings, right? See, they not far off from the truth. They got 365 days, which means it's only 5 days off from the true time. Because you can't, when you're dealing with the truth, you can't be too far off, or you're going to be way out of balance. So you will never see the heathen talking about some 380 some days in a year. That's way off balance. So they got 365. And where these other 5 days coming from? How do they even appear that they're there? It's called daylight savings. Daylight savings starts in March. And watch these numbers and how they don't lie. You got March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, and then it's over November 1st. So essentially, you got how many months? 8 months of daylight savings, where they will literally take an hour from you. They take it. In the middle of the night, when you sleep and snoring, you supposed to get up at 7, but you're like, man, it's 6 already? Yeah, because they done took an hour off the clock. And a day is made up of how many hours? A calendar day is always 24 hours. That's an axiom. That's a self-evident truth. That's not debated nowhere on this earth, from Chinatown to African City. 24 hours is in a day. From morning to morning, you're going to get 24 hours. Right? So essentially, they done took an hour off of each day, right?
Now, boom, right there. That's a lie. That's what I disagree with. They take an hour off each day. Let me wind that real quick, because I mean I know I'm gonna be told that I ain't gonna be told nothing. Because truth be told, I don't get enough respect for anyone to even try to address anything I say anyway. But let me just
Town to African City, 24 days. 24 hours is in a day. From morning to morning, you're gonna get 24 hours, right? So essentially, they done took an hour off of each day, right? For the whole 8 months.
they took an hour off each day for the whole 8 months. Okay, so that means every day is daylight saving time. Now we all know there's only one day that they take an hour off. They don't take an hour off every day. Every day we don't have to get up an hour early. They don't do that. But this is what he's saying because he's trying to prove this point, which is false. But look, he said every day for 8 months. That's 300. What 200? Let's do the math.
So how many hours essentially is there for 8 months? If it's an hour from every day gone for 8 months. If you know math, it's easy to calculate. 240.
240. All right. So 240 is 24 hours in a day. So that's 10 days that they taking off these 8 months. See, this is the logic, and I want you guys to follow it. Every day they take off an hour. That's 240 hours. 240 divided by 24 is 10. So that's 10 days. Okay, that was taking away, is what he's saying, from 365. All right. And then he said you're gonna add 5 more. Because you take away 10 from 365, you get 355. And you add 5, what he's about to say, and you get 360. But let's listen up.
He knows math. He knows numbers. 240 days is in 8 months. So that's essentially 240 what? Hours. So if you done took 240 hours, and see, you can't see that on the calendar. You can't see daylight say when you look at their calendar from January to all the way to December, you can't see hours taken off the calendar. But when you're taking hours off the calendar, essentially you're taking days away. When you accumulate at least 24 hours, that's a whole day. Now it might not mean nothing to you, but I guarantee you, if you see your check at the end of the year, you say, what the, y'all been taking an hour here and an hour. Man, you done essentially took a whole day from me. You owe me for this. So yes, 240 hours over the span of 8 months. How many days is that? 10 days. So you got 365 that they say is there. You can count them, but you can't see them hours is gone. And essentially, your 365 is now 355. 355. Because for 8 months, you done took an hour from me. I felt it. I had to get up earlier and everything.
You had to get up earlier for one day out of the year, not every day. But let's continue.
But then they have 4 months where they give it back. And 4 times 30, that's 120 days, right? So they gave us back not the full 240 hours. They gave us back how many hours? 120 hours. 120 hours is how many days? So 355, and now you're getting back 5 days. How many days you get? 360 days. And 360 is actually what they have in their calendar. So you can't see it sliding. You can't see it moving when you're trying to count on paper. But they stuff is sliding. It's moving. And so essentially, if you do count on paper with them, 365 is actually 360. Because they done manipulated the hours. So they put 365 in your face, 365. But the truth behind 365 is only 360. Because, brother, I seen what you did. You telling me it's 365, But what about them 10 days? And what about them 5 days? I know how to do math. You take away 10, you add 5, you at 360. So numbers don't lie. You can tell me it's 365. But no, they calendar is actually the reason they stay in season. And January is January, February is February. And these months ain't changed since we've been here. They ain't never had to have a 13 month. Never.
All right, now I could go on for and let the brothers speak. One thing I will have put a disclaimer out. I don't have no ill feelings towards any of the brothers. I just thought the Almighty moved me. I don't know what it was. Maybe the Almighty, maybe whatever, maybe my whatever. But I was moved to present what I felt as though was just wrong, and I always trying to get an understanding of it, but I cannot do that. And I am too intelligent to have anything pulled over, any of this smoke, because there you do not lose a day, you do not lose an hour every day. You know what I mean? So this is the whole thing. I will never get an understanding of that, of the calendar. It was supposed to be 360. Truth be told, everyone I talked, when I talk to people about it, they can't come up with the calendar themselves. I know people who get Excel sheets and try to use 360 days to come up with it, but it's always changing. Like I said, this year, 7 days was added. So the people who try to do 360 days, it doesn't work for them. So, I just want to say that. I hope I don't get in trouble with the brothers. I know I love the brothers. There's no beef or anything like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure the brothers are okay with intellectual debate and discourse against the things that they come up, with, because especially my brother Isha, there's no ill feelings. In fact, Isha, I need you to make me a website for the low. I got some money for you. That's all I wanted to say, though. So I want to say peace to all of you.